All right, week 4 is upon us. It's crazy.
Almost a month in.
It's already week 4.
Crazy.
Hopefully, you got some 3-0 teams out there. Hopefully, you got some 3-0s.
Before we get into it, though, we're bringing the shirt promotion back for the month of October. If you sign up for Smack Talk or sign up for DraftKings using the promo code FST or follow the link in the description for the card, deposit $5 or more, DraftKings will give you an entry to a free game, and we'll send you a shirt. So today is the last day of September, so just wait until tomorrow. Sign up the whole month of October. We're running the promotion. Go ahead, get in there.
All right, Dustin, tell us about this buy low, sell high.
So this is about the time of year, getting trades done, buying low, selling high. So we got 3 buy lows and 3 sell highs. I'm doing the sell highs. Larry Fitz is the first one. Pretty obvious. I mean, I just really don't think he's going to keep this up. I mean, if you can get good value for him, I think a great time to sell high on him. Devontae Freeman on the Falcons. The guy has been a career like 3.6 yards per carry. I don't know what was going on in that Dallas game, but it was just, I'm not saying a complete fluke. I'm just saying with Tevin Coleman coming back and Freeman coming out of nowhere, sell high on him. And then Brandon's going to hate me for this one, but Julio Jones, I think, is a sell high.
I need you to explain this.
Even though I think
such a bad idea.
He could end the year as a #1 receiver. But
right
right now,
player.
he is like immortal at this point. If he has 6 catches for 60-yard game with no touchdown, then he's right back to being late first-round value. If you sell him right now, I think you get like Odell Beckham plus. Like Odell Beckham plus like an RB2, I think, in some cases. So that's my thing, depending on your team. Like, let's say you have Greg Olsen. If you could do Greg Olsen and Julio Jones for Odell Beckham and Gronk, you mean to tell me you wouldn't be excited about something like that? Right now, he's just in this realm by himself.
God, could you really trade Julio, though?
If you're
It'd
getting
be so hard.
Yes, you can if you're getting that type of upgrade at
Julio.
another position.
I would do that, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason
I'm
I'm selling him is because I think you could get something like that done.
You know, I hear you. And, like, whenever I saw this on here, I was like, Dustin, I'm going to hate all over you. That's true. And that...
Depending on the... Especially if the other team that has Gronk is, like, 1 and 2. He's on a bye.
Yeah.
It can make sense in some cases, but only do it if you're getting best overall player value out of the deal.
All right. Let's talk about buy low. So the one guy I'm going to... So we got Andrew Luck first of all. Let's say Andrew Luck. Don't worry. He's going to bounce back. I love trading for him right now. I mean, I think you might be able to... If you could do something other than Rodgers, take any quarterback and go straight up for him, and I'm happy with it. You know, if you could trade Carson Palmer straight up for Luck, like, that's crazy. Try it. See what happens. All right, then we got Davante Adams. The thing about Davante Adams is he's even getting dropped in some leagues, which is nuts. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league, and Davante Adams is still getting targets. We heard all the good things. He's going to eventually break out, and you can basically get... He's like I said, you can pick him up in some leagues, so you can trade nothing to get him. The other guy is Eddie Lacy. So Eddie Lacy, he's historically always off to a slow start. He had a good week 1. He's going to be fine. That's a high-powered offense. So all 3 of those guys are buy low. If you could trade Julio for all 3, that's not a bad trade either.
Don't do that. Let's get into those forum questions. What you got for me?
All right, the first one comes from RP Gilbert. Should he drop Teddy Bridgewater for either Blake Bortles or Jameis Winston?
You know what? I do think it is time to give up on Bridgewater if you have other solid options. You know, I didn't hate him coming into the year, but I do think...
We didn't love him.
He was getting a little too overhyped, and I think people were just so excited about, oh, Peterson's going to be there, the whole offense is going to be amazing. Teddy has looked pretty bad, and I really think Bortles just has... He's going to be asked to do more on that offense, I think. I just think Bortles in general is slightly higher upside in my opinion this year, and I think he's safer too. I think Teddy's going to be kind of all over the place.
I prefer Carr for Oakland over him, though.
There's another guy that's...
I know he's not listed, so that was terrible.
Got one from Gar12. Which receiver? And this is a tough one. Stevie Johnson versus Cleveland. Calvin at Seattle. Moncrief versus Jacksonville. Jeremy Maclin at Cincinnati. The obvious choice would be Calvin, but is it so obvious?
Oh, man. That is extraordinarily tough.
It is, because, I mean, we've seen what Calvin's done. I mean, it's been amazing.
I mean, Moncrief I'm taking out. I mean, it's Jacksonville, but, you know, I think that's kind of a touchdown-dependent type thing. Maclin against Cincy, I'm going to take that out as well. I mean, he's been hit or miss, to say the least. So I'm between the 2 Johnsons. And if it was me, I would just stick with Calvin and the blow-up potential. I think you just have to. It's just, you know, it's just safer, the blow-up potential. And if he's on your bench and blows up, it'd be terrible. So I understand the question, but I'm definitely going to have Calvin ranked the highest. All right, JCat29 wants to know who should start in his flex. Melvin Gordon versus Cleveland, or your newest man crush of 20. This is, I think this is your biggest man crush this year. Rashard Matthews, wide receiver, Miami Dolphins, if you didn't know, against the Jets.
It is a man crush, and I do like him, and I do think he's getting disrespected for not getting picked up, but that doesn't necessarily mean you put him right in your lineup. I had him in lineup a decent amount of leagues last week. Very happy about that. The second touchdown was kind of
that little humble brag right there.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm an expert.
I don't like the London games, though. You know, that scares me. I think Gordon is much, much safer. I think he's who I'm going with here. As much as I want to go with Matthews, I just think it's too risky.
What would you actually do, though? You personally?
Honestly, it depends on my matchup. If I feel like I'm the favorite, I'm going safe points. If I feel like I'm playing from behind, I'm taking the risk.
It's sometimes what you know, but you should do what you do. Which is fine.
I don't always do what I should do.
Yeah,
that's very true.
That's what you got to go with your gut. I always say that. All right, let's talk about duds, sleeper, and deep sleeper. And my dud, and this kind of scares me, is Tyrod Taylor. I think teams are going to eventually kind of figure him out to some degree. He's not this good. Now, granted, I'm not saying he's a must bench. I'm just saying, even with, like Tom Brady and other people on bye, I'm still not going to put him in my top 10 this week. This kind of, I think, it takes defenses a while to adjust to how a quarterback plays, kind of unorthodox like Tyrod. So I think there's enough film on him now. I want to see the scheme against him. He just makes me a little nervous. I know he doesn't have the worst matchup either, but again, I don't think he's going to be terrible. I just probably won't have him in my top 10. All right, my sleeper is going to be Chris Johnson versus the Rams, and here's why. I truly believe what Bruce Arians says. He's like one of the only head coaches that every time he says something, it actually happens. And he said that even with Ellington coming back, at least for this week and probably going forward, Chris Johnson's, they're going to try to get him between 15 and 20 touches because he's been running great. I believe the coach, so I'm going to have him in a lot of my lineups, I feel. And my deep sleeper is going to be Matt Jones against Philly. I know what happened. You used the #1 waiver on him. You were all excited. He was Thursday Night Football. You're like, yeah, I'm going to put him in. He's a monster. I'm going to see it. And he was having a bad game, and he was going to make all up for it, and then he fumbled on the goal line. It's clear to me he is the more productive running back over Alfred Morris for the Washington Redskins. I think he solidifies it this week.
All right, let's take a look at mine. My dud's Devontae Freeman. And yes, I know what he did last week. And Tevin Coleman might be out again this week, so we'll see what happens there. Just don't do anything crazy. I mean, he had an amazing week. You may have had him on your bench and you were mad, and now you're going to put him in your lineup no matter what. He is not a no matter what kind of start guy. Is he top 15, top 20? Yeah, probably, but he's not a hands down starter until he shows us a little bit more, because his lifetime rushing average, I think, is like 3.6 yards.
Jonas Gray had 4 touchdowns 1 week last year.
Don't just forget saying. That. I'm just saying I want to see one more week. I don't believe it yet. And my sleeper's Percy Harvin. I don't think he's getting enough respect. He's still available in a decent amount of leagues. He's been consistently involved in that offense. I like his matchup this week. I'm starting to buy into Percy. He's starting to impress me a little bit. And my deep sleeper is Duke Johnson going up against the Chargers. I think last week he got involved a little bit in the passing game. The Chargers have been giving up a lot of points to running backs. I think this is the week where the Browns get a little bit more creative, get the ball in the Duke's hands. I love him moving forward.
And what I love about this is if you have like a dead roster spot, go ahead and pick him up and just leave him on bench, see what happens.
He's owned in a good amount of leagues, but I love him as I offered Shane Vereen for Duke Johnson, that type of trade, get a little bit more upside. I like that.
He's available in some leagues, I guarantee you. Some people cut him. All right, let's go with Mike. I'm going to do Mike this week. His dud's going to be Lamar Miller against the Jets. Plain and simple, he has not done anything all season, and the Jets are a very good defense. And Miami just hates Lamar Miller. Always have, always will apparently. So Mike just doesn't think he's going to get the touches, and if he does, he's not going to do anything with him against a tough D. His sleeper is going to be Charles Clay against the Giants. Now, he scored in 2 straight games. He's averaging nearly 6 targets per game, and he was pretty much the #1 added tight end. And, he's had some flashes in the past too, so he's certainly interesting. So again, Charles Clay is a sleeper, and deep sleeper is going to be Thomas Rawls versus the Lions. He is clearly the backup for Marshawn Lynch. Everyone thought it was going to be Fred Jackson. Got scooped in a bunch of leagues. But this guy, I mean, it was very noticeable. And, those hamstring things are interesting. If Seattle gets up or there's a tweak or anything like that, he clearly can blow up.
So that's it for week 4. Subscribe to our channel. Get into the forums if you got any questions. Sign up for DraftKings so we can send you a shirt. I know you want one. Who doesn't want a shirt?
Doesn't want a shirt. Catch and throw.
Ah.